you're ready to wake up, you're going to wake up. And if you're not ready, you're going to stay pretending that you're just a little, poor little me.
Do you feel it?
Yes, we do.
A worldwide awakening is upon us. Welcome to the Universal Consciousness Show.
The Universal Consciousness Show.
Where we explore topics such as UFOs, aliens, banned medical cures, as well as classified secret knowledge. Come question your holographic existence. Share experiences from the other side. This is a show that will expand your mind as we decrypt the symbolic messages locked away deep within your DNA. And now, your guides for this magical journey. The hosts of the Universal Consciousness Show, Avi Nast and Diana Seraphim.
Hello, everybody. Yes, you are listening to the show for the thinking global citizen. And here we are, another Monday with coffee in hand, and we are ready to go. My name is Augie, and I'm one of the hosts, and I have Diana with me, my co-host over in Germany. Hello, Diana.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah, and before I introduce the guest we have with us today, I want to tell you how you can connect with us also. You can visit us at our website on universal-consciousness-show.com. And we are on YouTube with the same name, Universal Consciousness Show. And while you're there, please subscribe. And also, when you click that red button to subscribe, also click the little black bell next to it. That is important because then you will get notifications when new shows are coming up. And boy, oh boy, you want that. So anyway, for those of you that like to hear this show again, just go back to our universal-consciousness-show.com, and we will be on YouTube in a day or so. And also, of course, we are on KCOR Radio, the archive there at kcorradio.com. And of course, also we are on 7 other platforms. That is Twitter, iTunes, TuneIn, Alexa, Facebook, and a few others, and a bunch of apps that is available to different radio stations. So we really, on those apps, we have no idea of the thousands that is listening. So also, if you are listening to KCOR Radio website, there is this wonderful little feature down at the bottom of the page. It's called a donate button. If you like what you hear and you like to support us that way also, we would love to see that. It tells us that we are doing the right thing and you enjoy yourself being with us. So if you can't do it, that is perfectly all right. We love you. We're glad you're here, because otherwise it will be just a little bit boring, possibly, because there will be just the 3 of us. But on the other hand, we're here and we're here for you. So now let me introduce you to the guest. This we have with us Celestine Star. She's the founder and director of of Galactic Earth Council. She has been an emissary for Ultra Terrestrial beings coming here to help mankind for over 40 years. And she's also a counselor to groups and individuals who want to learn more about the spiritual worlds and how things work. She is in contact with alien spiritual entities who teaches her how to help in the upcoming regeneration of our benevolent ultra-terrestrials that is waiting for the big day, and it is coming. And those are our ancestors to mankind. She's also the author of the book, The Galactic Earth Council. Her mission here is to help in the raising of the vibration of Earth and everything on it. So we are going to have an elevated conversation here today. Welcome to the show, Celestine.
Thank you, Augie. What a beautiful introduction. Thank you.
All right.
Hello, Celestine, and thank you so much for being here with us today. You know, I usually have a standard way to start talking with our guests, but in your case, I need to say something more.
Yeah.
Since I become a seeker, anytime when I discover something new, when I have a new revelation, I realize how poor I was prior to that discovery. And that is exactly what I felt as I discovered you. I was listening, unfortunately, too late. I discovered you now before the show, and I was listening, very fascinating of your YouTube videos, and you are really like a box filled with diamond of knowledge. And I'm so happy to discover you. And you are
Aw.
such a peaceful, harmonious, and beautiful presence. So now I will jump to my first question that I will always put to our guests. Can you tell us for the beginning, what was the turning point in your life that brought you on this wonderful path?
Well, thank you, Diana. And I totally feel a love heart with you. And I appreciate you sharing such kind words. So the turning point was actually from my first breath, because I came into a world that was relatively asleep. They had just come out of World War II. And so everyone was just kind of getting back into their lives. It was very simple. And my background was to be birthed into a metaphysical family. So you can imagine it was like the mystery school, living in the mystery school of esoterics, sciences. I mean, so the turning point was really my birth. There were several turning points, several highlights. So as I grew up understanding interdimensional existence, other intelligences, working with the elements, then you move into alchemy, Hermeticism, Native American work, shamanism. And by the time I was 6, I had a near-death experience and I entered the Godhead. So that sealed my path to stay upon the way of light. And, you know, going through the light in a near-death experience, having your life reverberated back to you, and then meeting intelligence. There was blue beings, 2 blue beings that guided me through, and then entering the Godhead. So I could say that would be my turning point. And then it goes on and on. I'll let you go ahead and ask the next question. Thank you.
I was wondering, when you, at the age of 6, had that experience, do you still remember what you saw and what you may have been told at that time?
Absolutely. It reverberates through me constantly. I came back, and when they talk about your DNA, the 24 strands or the more strands, I had all my DNA was activated. I understood the complexity of the universe in ways that I can't express to you. I had to literally ask for the openness of everything coming into me to be kind of shut down so I could actually live here among everybody. I would understand who you were, what you were doing, what you were going to say, how everything would be just fed to me just by the instance of just looking at you. So, yeah, it was very, it's still with me. That's all I'm going to say. It's still with me.
Yeah, and that's I know how that works, because if you have a universal download, you get everything there is dumped in your head, past, present, and future at the same time. And our mind is not structured to be able to read and decipher that because of our linear thinking.
Yes.
So
I really had to work at it.
Yeah, you probably have to go in and request certain things that will then emerge out of the soup.
Yes, I can use it at will now. I'm more able to access it, and now I've modulated it into more of a way of presenting it to people and offering this a way for them to receive information for their lives. So it's worked out.
Yeah, and now these days we have the oh God, I'm looking for a term that's going to be somewhat human friendly here, but I'm not coming up one. And we have this
Just say it.
The fake pandemic.
Oh, I love it. Yes, the media pandemic.
Yeah,
Yes,
and it is all there to create fear.
Yes.
And how do you suggest that people can deal with this?
I've been working with a lot of people on this question, and I tell them to start with their life and recognize that they are creating their world. They have a universe. That would be the first step. And most people tell me, oh, I'm wearing the mask because I'm going to go see my grandmother. It's going to be, and I really have to take them to the point where the only intelligence that can bring you off the planet is the creator. And whether you are atheist or not, I say, okay, a stone cannot create out of itself. There has to be some kind of intelligence for it to create out of itself. So there is a creator. There is an intelligence, and that intelligence brings you on. Your first breath, think of your first breath as a child. What did it take for you to come in? And that is the only thing that can take you out. So if you're going to your grandmother's, I tell them, is it your destiny to bring death to your grandmother? And immediately, no, what are you talking about? I said, well, when you're telling me that you can't touch me or this is going to happen, then you're telling me that you're going to bring death to your loved ones. And I don't see that as your destiny. Do you? And it kind of is an wake-up call for people to really look at their idea of death and living. So we go from there, recognizing that the mask in no way is going to save them. If they're going to get sick, they're going to get sick. We're in the flu season. This is natural. What are you going to do? Your immune system is what needs to be focused on. And so that's what I would say.
Yeah, because that mask is worthless. In fact, the mask is worse than not wearing it.
Absolutely. It's a sign of submission. It actually is like a sign of submission. And I think it was a test to see how many people could be controlled around the world. I think it continues, and the trauma, it's almost like 9/11, keeping people off kilter. But I'm grateful for the millions who are awakened, who just stepped in with food and Zoom talks and, just being present with each other. And there are so many awakened people, far more than they can ever even imagine. Yeah. Yeah.
And then, even the mask, having it on, you're breathing stale air.
Oh, that's
CO2 that is very harmful. We're not plants. We're not supposed to breathe that stuff.
That's right.
Yeah. So
and most people don't wash their mask.
Yeah, there you go. So, the particles are so small they pass right through anyway. Now this is all to create fear. But I got another side question on fear. We are always told that we should avoid fear, get rid of fear in your life. But does fear also have a good purpose? Could it?
Yes, absolutely, because the other side of fear is power. And I work constantly with people who are coming out of trauma. The trauma has shut them down in life and they're afraid to move forward. And my assistance to them is to help them to face the fear. And so recognizing there's different states of mind, and relaxed states of mind, one can actually have a conversation about what's going on, about the fear, about what's going on, and look at it and say, okay, so what are you learning from this? And when a person begins to speak into what they're learning or what they've learned, they begin to relax and they realize this is it. And then I ask the question, is this personal, or are you on a mission, to learn about these things? And as they move from understanding what they've mastered to, am I still going to keep this going on? Is it personal to me? I'm ready to let it go. And then there it is. They step into the place of power.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it is a tool for learning, and it is, I think it's a part of humanity to understand separation and the unified mind. It's there for us to step through those gateways.
Yeah, absolutely. And on top of that too, sometimes it warns us maybe we are doing something that is dangerous and we shouldn't do it. I've had those feelings a few times and I didn't listen, and boy, oh boy.
Well, you nailed that one. Yes, thank you. Thank you for that one. It is good, the survival path. Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I would, I know we were talking before, and Diana, you had several questions also that you had on the tip of your tongue.
Yes, because we were talking now about fear, and so could you? What would you tell to the people on times like that when everything is so aggressive? Is there something that can put us in the eye of a hurricane?
Absolutely. So we are in such a fierce working here. There's a double balance. One is the highest vibrational frequencies coming in, and then this 40-year project that is now manifesting. I let people know that you can work with timelines, which is very interesting. When you work with timelines, you can recognize there's a little bit of control over your life. It's like standing at a street corner where there's 3 places to go. You could go left towards the fear and all of the misconceptions and the smoking mirrors, or you could go right and go to a place where you can imagine your own state of being. And most people will choose the right path. Whether it could be left, right. I'm not speaking in either way, but just choosing the path of a higher nature. So if I'm shaking in fear to go outside, I can't manage my mind. Breath is a way of slowing everything down. Just getting into the breath, feeling the breath until the body calms. The breath leads the body into a state with the parasympathetic and the sympathetic, where you come into a state of rest. You're not running through the forest and having a tiger after you. And then from there, going into a state of silence. And you can ask yourself, what do I need in my life? Because you're manifesting your life, whether you are aware of it or not. What do I need? I need to feel safe to go outside. I need a sign. You can ask for a sign. You can ask for information. You can ask for a message for your life. And in the silence, be ready to listen, because it's going to come quickly and the answer is going to be there. Mm-hmm. But calming down in silence, that is one way. Also to choose the path, because if you're giving energy to the fear, then you're going to manifest more of that. So if you can use your imagination and give more to that, like, where are you going? What do you see for your own future? And if they can see for their future that the masks are off, that all of this is settled, then I tell them to lock onto that timeline. And a timeline is like you grew up from, what's the age, 10 to 15. There was a timeline in which you went from 10 to 15 and all these things occurred. You could do the same thing right here, right now. Where are you going? What does it look like? and then lock it in. So that's what I would say, working breath, silence, and timelines.
Actually, you mentioned timeline. That's a very interesting concept, being having studied time travel quite a bit. And the thing is that we may be able to realize that we have more than one future.
Yes.
We have the future that we are on right now is based on our previous actions and thoughts and imaginations. But if we suddenly say, okay, I don't want any of that, I want to do something totally different, bingo, you start another timeline if you go after that. And that is a way when we can control the future.
Yes. Very good. I'm so thankful
Yeah.
you're awake. Yes.
And if we use the language of the spiritual world to design our future, we can create some really nice things. The language of the spiritual world, of course, is not English or German or Taiwanese or anything like that. It is a language of emotion, spiritual thought, love, intention, vivid, colorful pictures. And now we can design that future and create nice things out there for us.
We have the template for the Garden of Eden, and I think we're coming up against it. And we either have to start imagining our future. Where is Earth going? And so I'm so grateful for you to bring that to your audience, because it's one of the key. And I teach what is called the Kinsu meditation through the Golden Life Wisdom. And I would make this ebook I made available to any of your people for free, and it teaches the method of manifesting your future, exactly what you were speaking of.
Oh, wow, wonderful. Let the people know where they can go to your website and see that.
Yes, it's on the website goldenlifewisdom.com, and they can just sign up there, and I will get the email. We have it set up so the ebook will just automatically download to them. But if not, I get the email, then I can send it to them. So.
Okay. That sounds wonderful. Yeah.
Yes.
And now I would say in the book you evidently talk about meditation, and I think meditation is probably the most prevalent gate to higher consciousness. Do you agree to that?
Absolutely agree. It is a gateway. Yes. A gateless gate, as they call it. It opens the frequency of the mind, and using heart and mind together in meditation elevates, and so you begin to receive information for the life. And this can carry you forward always. Yes, it is a good.
Yeah, there you go. We now have only 30 seconds left before the break. And we will come back after the break, and we are going to be talking with Celestine Star more. And now we're going to get into the spiritual side of it. And we'll just pull some really good stuff out of her mind. Thank you. Be back shortly.
You're listening to the Universal Consciousness Show.
The Universal Consciousness Show.
Your weekly connection to the truth.
You get to really sort of enjoy a bizarre ride.
Share your knowledge by calling our hotline number at 702-425-9230. That's 702-425-9230.
Call now.
Worldwide callers find us on Skype at KCOR Radio. It's time to abandon your fear and question what you think you know.
And now, if you will, accompany me on a journey to the future.
More awakening awaits.
After this, after this, after this, after this, after this, after this.
Hello, KCOR listeners. Lori and Fenton here from the Fenton Files to tell you how to watch UFOCon 2020, which was held right before the virus scare and shelter in place. It was a conference like no other, so don't miss out on the specially priced on-demand replay of what is already the most talked about conference of 2020. Visit UFOCon2020.com. That's UFOCon2020.com.
The Fenton Files, where it's all connected.
You see, whoever controls technology controls the world.
Come explore a universe full of possibilities. Every Monday night at 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Eastern. The Fenton Files. Go where no other show has gone before.
You can deny all the things I've seen, all the things I've discovered, but not for much longer. Because too many others know what's happening out there.
Whether it be UFOs, aliens, conspiracies, or even consciousness, your host, Lorian Fenton, has a file for that. The Fenton Files. Your journey to the truth is but a file away. Live, Monday nights, 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Eastern. Exclusively on the KCOR Digital Radio Network. The Fenton Files.
Incredibly intense.
Where truth is just waiting to be discovered.
Are you ready to go?
It's showtime!
Here we go, world. You're listening to the KCOR Digital Radio Network.
Broadcasting from the heart of Las Vegas, Nevada.
Their base is so large it has to draw most of its power from the nearby nuclear fusion plant.
The future of radio is here and now.
Radio signal.
Looking for cutting-edge conversations while exploring quantum possibilities? Then look no further.
We've got to fix it.
Broadcast Team Alpha. Hosted by Nori Love and Augie Nost. They're connecting the dots and unraveling the cosmic mysteries. With interviews from top experts, embedded insiders, and whistleblowers from around the world on an array of topics. From health, wellness, consciousness, and ufology, all in pursuit of the truth. Broadcast Team Alpha, hosted by Nori Love and Augie Nost. Live Tuesday nights at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, exclusively on the KCOR Digital Radio Network. The balance of power is shifting in the world today, and the old paradigm is being replaced with a new one filled with love, positivity, and prosperity for all. The only question you have to ask yourself: are you ready for a change? Broadcast Team Alpha. Come explore the quantum possibilities.
Going live in 3, 2, 1.
It's time, once again, to unravel the mysteries of the universe by connecting the dots to a higher consciousness. This is the Universal Consciousness Show.
The Universal Consciousness Show.
Now the world will begin hearing us.
Share your knowledge by calling 702-425-9230. That's 702-425-9230. Worldwide callers use Skype name KCOR Radio.
It's as simple as that.
Find us on Twitter at KCOR Radio or use hashtag KCOR. Even better, join us on the live chat at KCORradio.com. Back to your enlightened hosts, Augie Nost and Diana Serafini.
Hello. We are back talking with Celestine Star, and we, after the break here, we are going to talk more about in the spiritual arena. And, we hear about the universe creates this and the universe creates that, and we are creators. But where is God? What people call God in all this? I want to ask that question first.
Beautiful. It fills my heart. So we want to start with just sharing that the galactic intelligence that I work with, the High Spiritual Council, shares with me that they call God the Radiant One. And this particular Radiant One, the mantra that I was given by the Galactics to share that I'm awakened and I'm ready to communicate with them is glory in the light of the Radiant One. And we say that 3 times because by the time you say it 3 times, you are so in vibrational tune with all of creation. So I could start with our universe has the Radiant One. It manifests all things in expression of its life. So its existence, what is it experiencing or has experienced? So we could look at each of us as an expression of the Radiant One and discover within that the complexities of the of gods. And Go'ad is actually an Egyptian word. I'm Egyptian, and it means mother, father. So these God expresses its life, and we discover it through our own. When they say on the temple wall, "Know thyself," this is a part of that. And then beyond our universal complex of the Radiant One, there are more than one, and they are in the their existence is within the all. So there's a bigger arena of existence, the all, and it's a little bit more feminine in nature because its embodiment. We utilize our Radiant One utilizes the embodiment of the all to express itself. And that is why it must go back, where change, it must go back to its original form. So you could do no more than to exist within the embodiment of the all. The all is for the benefit of all, always. And then you have the Radiant One who is birthed into the all, just as we are. So there's that, as above, so below. And as it awakened, it began to manifest what it is experiencing. So that's what I would say. Our Radiant Ones is everywhere. There's not a place where it is not. And when you have that Godhead experience, you will understand this in a way that it cannot be expressed.
So everybody and everything is connected to that, and also part of that Radiant One.
That's right. There is no place that is not connected. That we're even talking about our consciousness connected to the constellations, the supernovas, and things like that. We are in charge. We are actually formulating our thunder, our weather, and more than we can ever imagine. So.
Yeah, weather can be changed by the power of thought. We have done that actually with the mastermind. Yeah.
Yeah. And we are called human seed consciousness because we are awakening, just as the Radiant One awakened, we are awakening to our God self. And so this is a part of, so you have a dual nature of the humanities and the divine.
Boy, this gets deep. And,
I love it.
Yeah. Now you are part of you probably not just you, there's many that is part of this program for reintegration of alien, spiritual possibly, or material entities back into society on Earth.
Yes, and we want to differentiate. Alien is a part of the government secrets grouping program, and they differentiate themselves, the extraterrestrials, and we have ultra terrestrials who are those who may be from different galaxies and dimensions, but they are focused here on Earth and in our solar system and our Sheshata, which is the Milky Way. So Earth is going through, this whole solar system is going through a state of transformation in which the veil that was between us and the ultra-terrestrials or extraterrestrials is dropping. And we can look at the resonance, Schumann resonance, and we see the frequencies going up. It's no longer 7.83. It's up in the hundreds and the 70s. I'm working with scientists and talking to them about this. But what I've been told is our third dimensional shell has now dissolved. So the veil has dropped, and so we're now in the living room of the next dimension. And there's a whole other set of laws and principles, but one of them is they no longer have to cloak. They no longer have to cover their starships in clouds. They no longer have to be hologrammically cloaked. We can see them. We can hear them. The sentience of humanity in clairaudience clairvoyance is becoming easier because we're in a higher frequency state. It's modulating our bodies to be able to receive that. So they call it the Simprith, and it's the divine plan of the Radiant One. You have Prima Ultras, which are like the right hand of God, who work with the High Spiritual Council, which is interdimensional, some in bodily form and some not. We work with the Galactic Star Federations and the Star Confederation, like Ashtar Command. Mm-hmm. So they're now working with specific people. We're in our 10th year, the Galactic Earth Council that we have formed in July the 11th, 2010. We're celebrating 10 years of contact. Mm. It's an historical event. We've kept it kind of under wire because, it was a spiritual working and it remains as such. But we are some of the first groupings that have gone for this long and archived, and there's images and things like that go with it. But so the first enactment is to activate the synapses of the brain. And so they have different methods that when we go out to do Skywatch, they affect this. And we've had to divide the group between newbies and advanced. So I work strictly with advanced. We can go further with that connection. So all of them have their own personal experience with the Galactics. They've taught us how to open the mind to recall who you are before you came to Earth. So once you understand why you came, your contracts, agreements, your mission, you can decide if you want to continue that or do you need to let it go or modify it. So that's a part we call go sessions, galactic origin. Mm-hmm. So, so there's a whole working happening because we are becoming galactic, period. That's it. I could speak a little bit into the 1950s atomic bomb blast and the ripping open of our universal sky, and that was the beginning, the delineating moments where the starships really came in, where from all over the cosmos they started coming because they utilized the networks of electromagnetic fields to communicate, and we destroyed it through. I was there. I witnessed it. The whole sky was torn in half, and I know this was a delineating moment for humanity, letting in consciousness that wasn't really in the highest good for all of us. So now we have to deal with it. So, but yeah.
Is there a place on your website maybe we also can read about these contacts that you've had?
Our website is the galacticearthcouncil.com, and the book, the Galactic Earth Council, the Reintegration of Earthkin and Starkin, is the book to get because in Chapter 11 they gave me the complete transmission. It had always been my desire to understand the history of the world from the standpoint of the galactics. And in that is an encoded chapter 11. So each time you read it, you get something new. Mm-hmm. And so they can find that on my website or Amazon.com. But yes, I do talks and I give teachings, and we have a light group. We have a Galactic Earth Council group reading up to Chapter 11, so they can join in on that as well.
Oh, that sounds interesting. For people that have groups out there, they should get a hold of you and have you talk to.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's good. Now, the entities, the ultra terrestrial entities that you are in contact with, what form are they in? Are they mostly spiritual, or should I say etheric forms, or physical also?
So they are a grouping that is both in physical form and in interdimensional. Some have vastness of consciousness. I did channeling for a time way back in the 70s and 80s and 90s. Meso, the keeper of the book, he's never manifest. But Tanandor has manifest, and he is a humanoid, and you would think, he has a lighter skin. There's a grouping that has a diamond. I call it diamond skin because it sparkles when you look at them. They just kind of like, it's like looking at diamond skin. It just sparkles your eyes. We have Syrian. I'm from Sirius, so my Sirius grouping contingent, including Thoth and Adjua. Adjua is what we call Thoth. Isis, Aset, and the grouping that came, that I came with when I came through the Stargate here into this Earth plane. There are what we have. So I just want to say that some are in physical form and some are not. Some can because they live in other dimensions. Most of them do not live in this dimensional field, so they can traverse. So, but I've had the honor of meeting what I call the Immortals, where they could just manifest right there. Boom, they're there. And humanoid, some look Asian. I had Tai Li Po appear to me. I've had numerous Immortals that have appeared to me. And during my time when I spent in the mountains, I was very much like a yogini, and I just stayed with it. Very few people would come out and sit with me and meditate, but for about 3.5 years, I was just in the forest. And I was guided to the place where they lived. They had an underground base, interdimensional base, and they call it septicles, and they taught me, and that is where I met them. And they still exist. And here in San Francisco Bay Area, we have the City of Light. So when I lived in Tiburon, I had that beautiful associate with them. And it's really beautiful because they can communicate. They could either come in a starship and you're driving and they'll drive with you and telepathically talk with you. It could be sitting on a mountain. They could appear anywhere. It's just an amazing. They have nothing holds them.
Yeah. Have they taken you on to the ships?
I have been on a scout ship, yes. I've been on the big ships. I've flown a ship myself. I have a starship that is parked. That's mine. And I have entered the cities of light. I tell people I have gone across the river and I've come back to share with you. It is the glory of forever, where we are going. As the veil drops, it is beautiful. And yes.
Yeah, and you probably have seen also these pictures, pictures when they take a picture of the sky, and you can see the skyline of a city, but it's sitting about 5,000 feet in the air. There are pictures. This happened over China. There were thousands of people that took pictures of it on their cell phone. You could see the skyline of the city up there in the sky, and also in South America they've seen that. In Spain they've seen it.
Yes, they are. You look on my website, you look on my Facebook, and you're going to see the skyline of San Francisco. They did this. This is the heart and the love and the intelligence level. There is no difference between the star people and nature. They could raise 100, and they've done this, 100 dragonflies around us. They can work with clouds. And what they did with the doctor, that we took a grouping out at Skywatch, they formulated and they created the landscape of San Francisco right before our group's eyes. Then they made a colossal cloud, and then they made a lotus. And they lit it up. It's really fun because they're artistic, creative, loving. So these pictures of skyscapes and stuff is just easing the synapses. You have to look at it and you have to say, that is not a plane.
Yeah.
That is something what is that? But it's so loving, you can't take your eyes away. And what it's doing is, this is purposeful working. This is a part of the reintegration to formulate the synapses to break the spell of that is not a plane. And once you get on that level, you say, okay, I've seen another worldly, intelligent occurrence. I'm ready. It's not going to harm me. And it's beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, I think more and more people are waking up to the fact that we are not alone. And we have now, if they at least open their eyes a little bit, we have an idea who those are.
Yes. Yes, the Pleiadians, the Lyrians, the Arcturians, yes. Uh-huh.
Yeah. And, you mentioned the holographic universe a little bit also. And in fact, there is some evidence to that, because there's a physicist named James Gates. He says that he has found computer language deeply embedded in the fabric of space. These are concepts representing ones and zeros. So it is there. So my wondering, if there is a computer program, there is a computer.
Yeah, I think it's all based in this geometrical. When anything is coming into manifestation, it comes through frequency, sound, and then into the electromagnetic field, which goes into the shapes and forms, the tetronics, and then becomes the light. The light is attracted and repelled. So that's kind of the basis.
There is an interesting book out there also called The Electric Universe, and I think
I heard of that. Yeah,
that explains exactly what you're talking about. Now, you also talk about the 7 principles of the universe.
Yes.
Let's talk about that for, I see now we got 5 minutes left, so maybe talk about that for a couple of minutes, but I want to also let you talk a little more, I wanted you to talk a little more about your book and your website.
Thank you, so kind. So some people understand this esoteric teaching as the Kabbalion. It comes out of Egypt, and it was given by Adwa, the Syrian father, and you call Thoth. But to understand the universal principles of mind, thought, energy follows thought is like the first principle, that the universe is mental. And so what you think is what becomes. And so once you understand certain principles, there's, all things become opposite. Love becomes hate, hate becomes love. There are meditations and practices in which you can hold that space in the center. And so you're not emotionally thrown, oh, I hate that so much, the racism, the craziness, the whatever. And then, oh, I love so much, it's just like the polar opposite, you've got the Democrat and the, nothing can be resolved when you have these opposites, because they're always moving from one extreme to the other. But when you bring it into the center, you have the harmony and balance. Okay. And so you have the 7 principles of that. And you have everything moves in rhythms, So the biological rhythms of your breath, of your body, of your life, things begin and then they end. And so when you're beginning something, you're always saying, okay, I can let go because it's going to end, you see? So you're always using your consciousness to say, I'm keeping this vision going. I'm going to keep furthering my future by holding space in this way, and I'm going to keep moving. But as you see, the times are changing, then you can shift. So you understand the principles when you're looking at it, you see.
Yeah.
male and female. There's, there everything has the plus and the minus. So Chakma, Binah, the Torah, so you have the feminine principle of retaining, of gathering, of holding energy, and then the male, the active principle of movement. And so that's what I would say about that. It's just
okay. Good. I see we got about 3 minutes left here. So talk a little bit about your website and your book, and maybe visit chapter 11 again a little bit. That was so interesting what's in there.
Okay, so the book is The Galactic Earth Council, Reintegration of Earthkin and Starkin. So it opens the doorways to cosmic evolution of Earth through the direct and conscious reconnection of humanity with beings from the stars, and come face to face with your heavenly origin. There's writings from the Advanced Galactic Earth Council members. My story, chapter 11. Let's see. Maybe I'll just read one little thing to end off, Let's see here. The evolution and development of the colonies and the greening environments were directed primarily by the females of the galactic Earthkin groupings. Their ability to resonate with the higher vibrational fields and the structural systems put in place on Earth and within the Sheshata Milky Way proved exceptional in these areas. The male component of the galactic Earthkin primarily evolved and developed the structural manifestations of the colonies and greening environments, as their natural abilities to utilize resonant fields technology to work with the earthen materials were well established. So this gives you a little taste, a little flavor, but it starts at the beginning of the actual manifestation of the Earth. It's fiery in all of the galactics that were called forth. It gives you the understanding of the first galactic Earth beings that were made, who were galactic in nature. So I'm going to end there.
Yeah, we got 30 seconds left, so give them your website again and maybe an email address.
Yes, galacticearthcouncil.com and galacticearthcouncil@gmail.com.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Celestine, for being with us. This was interesting.
Yay.
I sure will ask you to come back.
Thank you, so kind. Wonderful to you, Diana, too.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye-bye now, and until next time, be good to each other.
This has been the Universal Consciousness Show.
The Universal Consciousness Show.
Your weekly guide to a deeper understanding of the all that we are.
Well, in a few years, it will be a matter of common sense to very many people that they're one with the universe. It will be so simple.
Live Mondays at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern, exclusively on the KCOR Digital Radio Network. For more information on the show, hosts, or their guests, please visit universal-consciousness-show.com. That's universal-consciousness-show.com. Remember, there's a shift coming. A new earthly paradigm. A shift to universal consciousness.
Universal consciousness.
This is KCOR Las Vegas, home of the Digital Radio Network, broadcasting from a shack just south of Area 51.
Wait, that doesn't exist.
This is the KCOR Digital Radio Network. Now for the news.